What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Derek Chisora. Derek Chisora finally reveals how many fights he has left before retirement. And this is what he said. He said, "That's what we do. We go to war. I will die for my daughters. I will die for my mother. I don't know if I would die for my wife because that means she gets to marry another guy. I would die for my mother." Okay. He continues saying this. He said, "If I knew how to be a gardener, I'd have been a gardener from day one, but I'm a fighter. This is what we know. You can't tell a fighter to stop fighting and go and be a gardener now because we don't know that shit. We are fighters. Do you understand?" But I'll be honest with you. I've got 3 fights that I'm out. I want to get to 50. Those are the words of Derek Chisora. And let me counterpunch. It depends on these fights. Derek Chisora, the way he fights, he may be younger than guys that he just got a decision against with Gerald Washington. But the way he fights, 260 pounds, 39 years old. He says he wants to make it to 50. Well, that's 11 years. And if you're talking about having 3 more fights, you may talk about having, 3 more years, or maybe 1 year with 2 fights and then, another fight the following year. So 2 years. So it's between 3 years, a year and 3 years. Based on the way he fights, I wouldn't do it. I know what he's doing. He said, "I'll die for my daughters. I'll die for my mother." But it's like you're fighting to put money in their pocket. So I'm thinking you're fighting to keep food on the table. You're fighting to get clothes and to keep clothes on their back that they're accustomed to. That's why I feel you're fighting. But in the long run, what is it worth? Because he's still working for Skills Challenge. He's still getting a check. So he doesn't necessarily have to fight. He's just fighting because that's what he knows. Okay, so I think you're supposed to evolve into be a trainer, or like he is now, an ambassador. That's an alternative for that. You know what I mean? A lot of people, you give them, opportunity, they'll give you an excuse. In this case with Derek Chisora, well, fighting is all I know. Well, obviously it's not if you got hired to be a damn ambassador or a commentator or whatever, a spokesman. You know what I mean? The Saudis love him over there. So yeah, I think he always has a job. So there's nothing necessary for fighting. You know what I mean? I didn't like the way he took punishment in the Tyson Fury fight because all he was doing was eating those punches from Tyson Fury, and his jaw was busted open and he was still able to eat Five Guys burgers. That was the miraculous thing, but he didn't have anything to do or have for Tyson Fury to worry about. I think those are the type of fights Tyson Fury likes, but I don't like to see it because one-sided fights to me looks like bully shit to me, and I hate that. You know what I mean? So like Derek Chisora, fighting the way he fights, you don't want him to take a lot of punishment. And I think a lot of people, should be able to discern, like, look, we don't want you doing this. You know what I mean? If you're doing this, because like the way he's fighting equivalent of someone like Mike Tyson is fighting now. Meaning that he slowed down to the point, he may be too heavy or whatever, but his reflexes are not the same. He isn't punchy. So that's a good thing. So he can still talk, and I think he can still function. He can joke around and all that stuff. But as far as him fighting, his reflexes are slow. He looks sluggish. He's a plodding fighter. Okay, but I think he was pretty much a lot like that, but he was a lot faster back then. He was able to deliver and throw those shots and things of that nature. But now you just see a guy that's being diminished. Oh, and you can tell from the wear and tear that he's had over the years against these other guys, okay? So, us seeing Derek Chisora fight 3 more times, it was almost like, look, I can't take another Derek Chisora fight. I can't. You know what I mean? Unless he's just doing, like I said, the Black Balboa. Unless he's doing some shit where at the end he takes a guy out. Like the crescendo, it's rising action, rising action, rising action, and then climax. And then, oh shit, okay, cool. We got this guy that kept working hard, doing the best he can do, but he found a way to knock people out. Okay, that's exciting. He used to be hell of exciting. Now you just look at him, you're just looking at him like, he looks like a diminished fighter to me. You know what I mean? And like, really, how entertaining would that be? You know what I mean? And Derek Chisora is a fighter. I just hope he is built like Julio Cesar Chavez, Mike Tyson, You know, guys like that, Lennox Lewis, guys that you know that are still at themselves at a certain point in time, because there's many that are not. Even the most defensive guys are punchy. Pernell Whitaker, punchy. James Toney, punchy. You know, Evander Holyfield, punchy, and he wasn't even really defensive. You know what I mean? Because he took a lot of shots. He was the warrior, and he showed he was the warrior. You know what I mean? But like, I don't want to see Derek Chisora like that, because see, here's the problem. Once you had all those fights and you've taken all that punishment, you can't get that back. You can't undo that shit. It's just something that's been done. You know what I mean? And, you know, then you look back and you're 50 and then your kids are 13 and 14. You're like, shit, they're down there taking care of you now, because now you're not able to do that for them or to enjoy your life like the money that you've made. So what's the use of making all that damn money if you are risking your health? But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Derek Chisora stating how many fights that he has left. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.